guys, it's Gamer Ahmer here. So of course Konami has released some amazing news at E3. We're getting another mini console, and this one is the Turbo Grafx-16. So I am super excited about this console, as this is one of the systems that I don't have very many games for, and of course this system is pretty expensive, and a lot of people didn't actually play it back in the day when it released in the 80s. So over the years I've learned to appreciate this system, and the games that I have played and the games that I do own I love. So today we're going to go ahead and talk about everything that we know about this system so far and what games I think will be on the system. So let's go ahead and check it out. So of course, a little bit of history on this system right here. It was released in the late 80s, and this is one of those more obscure systems that a lot of people didn't play back in the day, as it was quite expensive. And of course I've learned to appreciate it over the years, and I was lucky enough to acquire this Turbo Grafx-16 console along with this Turbo Express handheld system right here for a great deal. And some of the games that I have in my collection are pretty expensive, but I also found those for a great deal. So of course, this system will be modeled after this. So of course it's going to be a smaller version of this system. Now, so far what we do know is that there are 6 games that are going to be released for this system. Yes, Book 1 and 2, which that game is definitely a pretty fun action RPG game. And then of course they announced Dungeon Explorer, which is one of those dungeon crawler games, and this one was actually pretty neat back in the day, as you could use the multi-tap for the Turbo Grafx, and you could go ahead and play with up to 4 players. So this game is definitely a neat and fun game, and it's definitely great to explore, so I'm pretty excited to try that game out. And then of course they announced R-Type, which you couldn't have a system without that game, as it is one of the best shoot 'em up games, if not the best shoot 'em up game for the system. So I'm really looking forward to playing that game, as I don't believe I actually currently own it for my Turbo Grafx-16, but I've played various R-Type games, so I'm definitely looking forward to that one. And then of course they announced New Adventure Island, which is a beautiful platform game, and this game is definitely a lot of fun, and it's a great game to add to this mini console. And then of course this great action game, they announced Ninja Spirit, which really is a great action ninja game. So this one is another fun game that I'm really excited to see on this Turbo Grafx-16 Mini. And then of course another neat title, they decided to add Alien Crush to this Turbo Grafx-16 Mini, which is an amazing pinball game, which definitely adds a little bit of variety to this console. So I love that game, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it on this Turbo Grafx-16 Mini console, as I really think it defined this system. So far this game list is pretty amazing, and I can't wait to see what other games they may add. And then of course they didn't just stop there, so we are getting the Turbo Grafx-16 Mini, but in other regions they will get the PC Engine and the PC Engine Core Graphics Mini. So of course in Japan they do have a different lineup of games, which so far in Japan they have announced Bonk's Adventure, which I love that game, and I'm all for the entire Bonk series, as I loved Bonk's Adventure, Bonk's Revenge. So those are definitely great games that I personally own in my Turbo Grafx-16 collection. So that's definitely a great game to add to the Japanese version of this system. And then of course they announced a Castlevania title, so they will get Castlevania Rondo of Blood, which is another great game. So I'm definitely looking forward to that lineup so far. They will also get Dungeon Explorer as we will, so that's another great game. And then of course Superstar Soldier, which is another great game that I'm really looking forward to trying out. The Kung Fu. And of course, just like us, they are also getting Yes Book 1 and 2. So far, even though the lineup of games are vastly different, it's still looking like a great console. And we're not exactly sure how many games will be released on this system, but I could think of several games that I would love to see on this mini console. So just like the Japanese version, I would love to see a Bonk's Adventure or Bonk's Revenge title on this Turbo Grafx-16, as that was definitely the mascot and the staple of this Turbo Grafx-16 console, and those games are just so beautiful. I love the music, I love the action in the game. It's just such a great game, and I love everything about those games, and it's been such a long time since we've seen those games, so I would love for them to bring it back on this Turbo Grafx-16 Mini, as some of those games are a little bit more hard to find, and they do go for a pretty hefty price when you do find them complete in box. So this will definitely be pretty awesome if they add those games on there. Now of course, as they had Alien Crush as the pinball game on here, I would love to see Devil's Crush, as I actually prefer that pinball game over it. So I would love to see another pinball style game on this system. So that would be pretty sweet if they put that one on there. And then of course, a great horror title. I would love to see Splatterhouse on the system. Now I currently own that game, and that is one of my favorite hack and slash games, where you move side to side and you just beat up enemies along the way. There's guts, there's gore, it's just a great title, and that would be pretty awesome to see that on this system. And then of course another hack and slash game, we have Legendary Axe. Now that would be amazing if they put that on the system as well, as that is another great game, and it's definitely a lot of fun every time I play it. And then of course, another pretty common title, I would love to see Keith Courage on the system, as that was one that everyone had when they owned the Turbo Grafx-16, and I enjoyed that game. It was definitely pretty fun having the character and then having this little robot, so that was definitely another fun game. So I would love to see them actually add that on here as well, as it's a well-known game that people generally know because they had it when they owned the Turbo Grafx-16. And then of course Kadash. Now that is definitely a fun platform RPG sword style game, so I would really like to see that one on the system as well. And then of course, with these mini consoles, you have to have a game that's very similar to Zelda, so I would love to see Neutopia 1 or 2, as it definitely is one of those Zelda clone games, and it's definitely a lot of fun, so I really enjoy those titles as well. Now of course, I would personally love to see Vigilante on this system, as it is a great beat 'em up title, and I've definitely enjoyed that one rather recently, and I really enjoy that game, so I definitely would love to see that on here, as I think a lot of people should have that beat 'em up game in their collection, and it's definitely a pretty fun game. And then of course, a military style game, we have this Bloody Wolf game. It's definitely one of those run and gun style games, pretty quick paced, and it's so much fun. So that would be another great game to add to the system. So of course you couldn't have a Turbo Grafx Mini without any of those classic shoot 'em up games for the system. So I would love to see any of the overhead or side view shoot 'em up games, such as Soldier Blade, Gates of Thunder, Lords of Thunder, or Blazing Lasers, because any of those titles are great for the Turbo Grafx-16, and they were so much fun growing up, and they definitely make for this system, as I love those shoot 'em up games, and I would love to see some on here. I definitely think it would be crazy if they didn't include any of those titles on this Turbo Grafx-16. And then of course, continuing on with that shoot 'em up style, I would love to see Air Zonk on this system. Now that is a different style shoot 'em up game. It definitely has that cartoon-esque, and it's definitely a lot of fun. It has some pretty cool looking graphics on the system, and it's definitely a pretty neat title, so it definitely has a different spin than some of your classic shoot 'em up games, so that would be pretty amazing. And of course, they would blow me away if they had Magical Chase on the system, which is definitely another great title, and it's one of the most expensive games on this Turbo Grafx-16 that I would probably never have in my collection, and if I did, I would have to get the Japanese version of the game, as it is significantly cheaper. But that would definitely be a great holy grail game that they could put on this Turbo Grafx-16 that I really feel like a lot of people would enjoy, as it is a pretty fun game, and it's definitely so expensive that many people will probably never own it or play it. So those games right there, I definitely feel like they should be on this Turbo Grafx-16. Now of course, there are so many great titles for the Turbo Grafx-16, and it seems like they may even include some of the CD titles for this Turbo Grafx Mini, as they already announced a couple in the lineup. So that is definitely great, as they have tons of different options that we still don't even know yet. So I'm really looking forward to seeing more information about this Turbo Grafx-16 and some of the other region releases. So that would just be amazing to find out more information as to how many games will be on here, when will it release, how much will it be, is it going to have more stuff included, what will go ahead and put this one over the top, as we have tons of different mini consoles, but this one is so obscure. It's such a great hidden gem console right here that so many people have missed out on and they still don't even know about, and just due to the fact that these consoles and games are so expensive, this is definitely a great announcement for E3. So of course I will have tons more videos for you guys, as there were tons of great announcements for E3, and I'm really looking forward to a lot of games this year, and especially this Turbo Grafx-16 Mini Console. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Go ahead and check out my other videos, and stay tuned for more.